Katsina residents displaced by bandits cry for help. 6 students killed in stampede in Nasarawa. Lassa fever outbreak confirmed in Delta State as 2 deaths recorded. On the international scene, blinking in Israel as U.S. supports call for immediate Gaza ceasefire. Many thanks for joining us on the News Update on Trust TV. I'm Sakir Ibrahim. Thanks for joining the News Update once again. Now the news in full. Residents of Burdugo, Yargoje and neighboring communities of Kankara local government area of Katsina State who are displaced by ravaging bandits are calling for help to enable them go back to their villages. Now, thousands of the displaced residents are now taking refuge in Burdugo Senior Secondary School, while hundreds of others, including women and children, are squatting with their relatives in towns perceived to be safe. Trust TV's Abdullahi Yamadi visited the area and brings back this report.
These women and children convey the tales of horror, saying living here without any security presence is horrific. They also said their loved ones have been killed, their houses burnt to ashes, and they arrived here with little or nothing to take care of themselves, and only depending on support from friends and sympathizers to survive. These IDPs, who said they are lucky to have counted themselves among the survivors, are frequently making references with their loved ones in the hands of bandits.
We did not carry anything to the place because we woke up in the night and saw ourselves running to unknown destinations. We arrived here with nothing else to call our own. The bandits have killed our husbands, children. The elderly burnt our houses and adopted many. Right now, we are tired of being here. We honestly want to go home to start a new life.
As you know, this is a fasting period. At least we're supposed to be at home by now. As such, we're appealing to the government to give us security. The suffering here is too much. We don't have comfort here. No food. We don't have anything. These people have so far spent over 4 weeks in these dirty classrooms, careless about hygiene. Elsewhere at Ergoji, the weekly local market is witnessing partial or low patronage, largely due to the escalating insecurity in the area. Our people are being killed daily. We don't have any peace of mind to concentrate on our farms or trades. To make our lives better, I think for close to 2 years, I did not work on my farm now for fear of attack or abduction. That was why we protested recently, and it has not yielded any positive results. Insecurity challenges had triggered humanitarian and socio-economic crisis here, forcing residents to abandon their farms and other means of livelihood. Abdullahi Yamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And in the south, use of Yenizwe, Epie and Okaka community in Yenogwa local government area of Bayelsa State on Thursday staged a peaceful protest in the Yenogwa metropolis demanding justice for Moses Akanda, who was allegedly shot dead by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. The protest, which commenced from Yenizwe, Epie community, saw the protesters march to the government house, Yenogwa, carrying placards with different inscriptions like "Enough of the killing of Epie Atisa" used by security agencies in Bayelsa State. Trust TV's Friday, Ebimoboe Peter completes the report.
The Okwan Youth President in Natimi Timothy and the Yenizwe Epie Community Youth President Samuel Okoko Martin said the protest was to demand justice for a youth of Yenizwe Epie community, Moses Akanda, who was allegedly murdered by operative of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, on Wednesday.
NDLEA, they came to one of my communities, Yenizwe Epie community, precisely that there is a drug baron, that they have arrested the person and they started shooting sporadically to the air and shooting better. How would they be shooting to the air and they now shot somebody? But unfortunately for this innocent Moses Akanda, he's a very peaceful young boy that a bullet went and killed. It's a direct shot on the chest. We want the government to ask the commander to produce the person within 3 days. As the Ogwa president, I'm going to mobilize all the youth of APA Atesa, and we are going to occupy the street of APA Atesa.
They shot one of our innocent youth to death, and so we are here today demanding justice. Whoever is involved in that heinous crime should be brought to book, because the security agencies, they are supposed to be the one to protect us, but as it stands, they are the one killing us on a daily basis. So we are here demanding justice for the killing of one Mr. Moses Akanda.
Addressing the protesters, the Bayelsa State Commissioner of Police, CP Frank Idu, sympathized with the community over the loss of their member and assured the protesters of justice.
I'm sorry for your loss. Deeply, really. It's avoidable. So, can you guarantee that you wait tomorrow 3 persons will be brought in? You can choose any young boy like this boy. Can be the 4th person. Then the woman that will not make too much of noise. So we can transform this conflict and come to corridors of compromise. What you want us to do, justice for your brother. And what the governor wants right now is tranquility, so he can be able to resolve all this, how will I put it now, vortex of crisis.
The commissioner assured that the command will continue to work with all stakeholders in order to ensure security of lives and properties in the state. From Yenagoa, Friday, Ebimobowe Peter, Trust TV News, Yenagoa.
Well, there you have it. Residents of Yenizwe, Pie and Okaka community calling for justice. Moving on now, the governor of Delta State, Governor Sheriff Oberewori, has urged traditional rulers in the state to maintain peaceful coexistence, improve on security and the sanctity of their royal office. The governor said they should do well by leading their subjects to greater prosperity in an atmosphere of peace, love and cultural respect between the throne and the people. According to the governor, the traditional institution remains a priceless legacy in any African society, and they should give priority attention to matters of security in their various domains, work with the security agencies and the local government councils. He cautioned traditional rulers in the state against shielding suspects involved in the killing of 4 military officers and 13 soldiers in Okwama community, Uheli South local government area of the state.
Any kingdom, this is how to know. Any kingdom that is hiding them, you should know that kingdom to face the world. Don't hide anybody. Don't shield anybody. Chief of Minister, President, all of this we have, they also assured that innocent people will not be victimized. It's only when you combine. Anybody that combine will not go free. The security of the whole state. We will work with you. In short, in our community today, after this meeting, we condemn this bastard killing of servicemen. We can assure you, Excellency, that nobody, no Tanzania would like to shield criminals, because we know the implication of shielding such people. It will bring disaster and that.
Governor Oberewori there with other traditional rulers in Delta State. Moving on to other stories now, mobile policemen from Mopol 20 in the Ikeja area of Lagos have smashed a gang of kidnappers and arrested 9 of their members after a bloody shootout that lasted for hours. The operation, which was jointly embarked on by the mobile men and policemen from Maroko Police Station, was carried out around one of the suspects' hideouts in the Lekki-Aja axis of the state. The police said the suspects are members of a notorious gang of kidnappers operating in the Lekki-Aja axis. The arrest followed series of complaints from members of the public to the State Commissioner of Police, Adegoke Fayoade, of an alleged upsurge in kidnapping along the Lekki-Aja area of the state. During the raid, 3 points of sale machines allegedly used for the collection of ransom money, 10 mobile phones also used to contact families and friends of victims were recovered. Force Public Relations Officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi said the arrest followed the resolution of the force to reduce crime to manageable levels, carried an onslaught on areas used by kidnappers for ransom suspects. Adejobi said over the past weeks, the operations have recorded several achievements. And 6 students of Nasarawa State University, Kefi, have lost their lives, unfortunately, while trying to receive rice palliative from the state government. Reports said the students gathered at the gate waiting to receive their shares while security personnel were controlling the venue of the distribution. Trust TV gathered that the students could not wait for the state government officials to commence the distribution as they jumped into the venue, causing stampede that led to the loss of lives. Confirming the incident, a staff of the institution said after the stampede, the victims of the incident were taken to the health facility of the institution and Federal Medical Center, Kefi. According to him, 4 of the victims died at the Federal Medical Center, Kefi, while 2 died at the university clinic.
Situation from the National State University. The student of bungled.
Quite a sorry situation there. And in health, the Delta State government has confirmed cases of Lassa fever with 2 deaths recorded. The State Commissioner for Health, Joseph Onojame, stated this while briefing the press in Asaba. He said that the cases were recorded in 4 local government areas, which include Okpe, Oshimili North, Oshimili South, and Ndokwa East. The commissioner explained that the samples which were taken to the Institute of Lassa Fever, Ira, Edo State, returned positive. The state epidemiologist Mildred Okoa also said the relevant authorities are creating enlightenment programs for residents and urged them to report suspected cases of Lassa fever to the nearest medical centers across the state for proper action.
We have a Lassa fever outbreak in the state. The first case was confirmed about 12 weeks ago. And currently, we've done about 43 testing from day 1 to week 12. And 4 confirmed cases, 2 deaths so far recorded. That's a fatality rate of 50%. The truth is that the general fatality rate for Lassa fever is 1 to 15%. We are doing a lot to ensure that we curtail the transmission.
The Commission has already mentioned to us that we're doing a lot of advocacy, a lot of sensitization, encouraging people to ensure that their food materials are kept covered so that they don't get contact with the rats, so they don't contract the disease in the first place. Another thing that we're doing, which we have done so much in this period that we've had cases across these 4 LGs, to work very closely with the Ministry of Environment. We've been able to go to the homes of these people, the places that we've looked at. We've seen that there's a bit of problem with environmental sanitation.
Still in the news, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, says the problem of Nigeria is not only in the hands of politicians, but civil servants as well as technocrats whom he said contribute heavily to the problems. Kalu stated this on Thursday during a courtesy call by the platform Public Service Bootcamp attendees at the National Assembly, Abuja. The lawmaker said there was need to bring digitization into the public service space where an auditing app can encourage accountability and productivity. Kalu, who acknowledged the youth as the energy of a nation, observed that many young people do not understand the concept of public service, which has always been misinterpreted as a mere means of livelihood.
Now, the problem of Nigeria is not just only in the hands of politicians. The civil servants, the technocrats, contribute heavily to the problem of Nigeria, when ordinarily they're supposed to be solution providers. Sometimes they ridicule the politicians by hiding the fundamentals that will help the politicians achieve their mandate and the program they have set out for the nation. They frustrate the politicians. It ought not to be so.
You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Still to come. We take a look at concerns as pregnant women boycott health facilities over exorbitant charges. There's, and of course, many other stories after the break. Join us again. Thanks for staying with the news update on Trust TV. Now, a recap of our top stories. Katsina residents displaced by bandits cry for help. And 6 students killed in stampede in Nasarawa. Moving on to other stories now, the Lagos state government is taking an initiative to subsidize food prices for citizens, especially staple food in the state, as they give 25% discount price in 5 divisions of the state every Sunday. However, majority of Nigerians are of the opinion that there is need for the government to source the foodstuff directly from farmers to ensure proper monitoring. Trust TV's Victoria Tokolo has more in this report.
In Nigeria, the cost of food constitutes a significant part of living expenses. To tackle these issues, the Lagos state government has introduced an initiative called Food Marts across 5 districts of the state to sell foodstuffs, especially staple food, at a subsidized price for residents. Reacting to the development, Professor of Economics and Director of Quality Assurance and Servicom, University of Lagos, Professor Olufemi Seibu, said reducing 25% discount on staple food in the state will significantly reduce the cost of living.
To make it something that can be replicated by other states and to prevent sharp practices by anybody who may want to adjust the process. Number 1, it must be institutionalized. That is, they must establish that food marts at a position that's very close to those who are buying it. It doesn't make any economic sense for somebody to spend around 5,000 to get where going to buy the foodstuffs of 3,000 naira.
Professor Seibu called on other states to emulate the Lagos example. Residents called on the state government to engage farmers, producers, vendors and middlemen in planning the initiative.
I think this should be directed to the farmers who are farming, try to subsidize their fueling or their means at which they do the farming. If you can factor it to the farmers, and I think it's going to take effect on the public, because if I buy it cheap, I will sell it cheap.
So for them to have that 50% discount, it will lead to some certain savings. And I believe that other states can actually emulate this, because it will lead to unity of a standard living in our country, Nigeria. I say kudos to the government concerning this project.
You try to have what they call a farmer union association, and also they should create what they call a community policing, and also the government to back up to give the local community policing, which is the vigilante group in that various geographical area, in a partnership with government agency, to make it more effective for the safety of the farmers.
To maintain the integrity and sustainability of the program, Professor Seibu suggests that government adopt a public-private partnership, PPP.
Selling our local foods, in that case, are produced within at least the region, not necessarily from the state. so that in that case, they can use that to boost economic activity of the state, of the region, of the country.
To achieve long-term success, residents and stakeholders called on government to institutionalize the initiative to ensure fairness, accessibility, and accountability.
Also, as Nigerians continue to battle the rising cost of living amidst the current economic hardship in the country, there are concerns that maternal mortality may surge as healthcare expenses rise. This is because the high cost of medical treatment is beginning to deter individuals and families from seeking timely and professional healthcare services, particularly among the vulnerable, thereby increasing the risk of child and maternal mortality. Trust TV's Hamid Oyegbade files this report.
For fear of medical bills, poor pregnant women often resort to traditional birth attendants or religious homes for their delivery, putting their lives at risk. This set of women are aware of the advantage of patronizing standard hospitals with skilled birth attendants, but would rather boycott same in order to avoid the embarrassment that comes with inadequate funds to foot the bills. As part of moves to address maternal and child mortality, the United Nations Children Fund is calling for a holistic adoption of health insurance to prevent the burden of out-of-pocket health care expenses on vulnerable families.
You know, when you're on health insurance, as many pregnant women, as many children that are under insurance, you go to hospital to seek care. And when you go to hospital, the level of healthcare delivery is better than you go to TBAs.
I was having issue with my tummy and I went to the hospital to use the facility. I went with my OSHA card and they asked me to do some scan. Ordinarily, if I'm not a beneficiary of health insurance, if I should do that scan outside health scheme, I would use 7,000 naira to do the scan. But just because I have the OSHA ID card with me at the hospital, I did the scan free of charge.
We also want more awareness to go out on the importance and benefits of health insurance. So we need to go to our grassroots, our communities to do this. We also have to look at our benefit package because we have to ensure that quality health services are being provided to everyone when they need it.
Observers say to achieve universal health coverage and Sustainable Development Goal 3, which relates to good health and well-being, governments at all levels must ensure full implementation of health insurance. Hamid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Oshogbo.
Nigeria, the managing director of the Nigerian Port Authority, Mohammed Bello Koko, said the agency is expected to generate 629.89 billion naira in 2024 while asking for a 200 billion naira loan from Afrexim Bank. Bello Koko said this while defending the 2024 budget before the House of Representatives Committee on Port and Harbour in Abuja on Thursday. He added that the total projected expenditure is 464.32 billion, while the operating expenses are projected at 212.03 billion naira, and the capital expenditure stood at 252.29 billion naira. Chairman of the committee, Honorable Nolim Naji, said the agency is very important to the country. He stressed that the committee needed to visit some of the facilities outside Lagos.
The total projected expenditure for 2024 stands at 464.32 billion, which is divided into operating expenses of 212 billion and capital expenditure estimated at 252.29 billion. In 2024, the main thrust of the budget is the urgent need to rehabilitate and reconstruct the aging port infrastructure and also to modernize our equipment.
The committee need to visit some of the facilities outside, for some of the ports outside Lagos. For the last time we were in Lagos, the eastern ports, we need to visit the eastern ports. Budget belongs to House of Rep. Screening of candidates or whatever belongs to the Senate.
And on the international scene, the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken is visiting Israel on Friday in a high-stakes attempt to secure a ceasefire between Israel and the militant group Hamas as the United Nations Security Council prepares to vote on a U.S. draft resolution calling for an immediate truce. According to a State Department statement, while in Israel, Blinken is expected to discuss the need to ensure the defeat of Hamas, including in Rafah, in a way that protects the civilian population, does not hinder the delivery of humanitarian assistance, and advances Israel's overall security. The United States has raised opposition to Israel's plan to carry out a ground offensive in Rafah, located along the Gaza-Egypt border, which Israel says is necessary to achieve its goal of defeating Hamas and ensuring the U.S.-designated terror group cannot carry out another attack like the October 7 assault on Israel. And in sports, Ghana's Black Princesses came from a goal down to beat Nigeria's Falconets 2-1 after extra time in the African Games 2023 football event on Thursday night. The defeat means the Falconets' reign as African Games champion has ended. Loveth Ede put the Falconets 1-0 ahead in the 23rd minute, slotting the ball home after the Ghanaian keeper spilled the ball. With 12 minutes left, Ghana equalized through Tracy Twum. In the 99th minute of extra time, Makurama Abdullahi scored the winner as her low shot on the edge of the box beat the Falconets keeper. However, Black Princesses of Ghana head coach Yusuf Basigi expressed satisfaction with his team's victory over the Falconets of Nigeria. He said to win a final like this in front of the home fans is an incredible feeling. And that wraps up the news update at this hour. Do well to follow us across all of our social platforms and also catch our live stream on YouTube for more news, programs and documentaries. I'm Sakir Ibrahim. Thanks for watching.